You open your eyes. It's 9 a.m., but the sky looks like 6 p.m. Not because of clouds, because the sun is gone. You check your phone. No signal. You check the window. Ash is falling like snow, except snow doesn't burn your throat when you breathe it in. This isn't a movie. Somewhere, 4,000 nuclear warheads have already detonated, but here's the part nobody tells you. The bombs aren't what kills most people. The cold does. A single nuclear exchange between two major powers could inject 150 million tons of soot into the stratosphere. But here's the contradiction: scientists in 1983 predicted humanity would go extinct from this. We didn't. And the reason why says more about human survival instinct than any apocalypse movie ever has. Let's rewind. Because survival doesn't start when the bombs drop. It starts hours before, and most people are already losing. In 1983, a team of scientists, Carl Sagan among them, published a paper that terrified the world. They called it nuclear winter. Their model showed that global temperatures could drop by 20 C to 35 C within weeks. Crops would fail. Photosynthesis would stop. Within a single growing season, 2 billion people could starve not from bombs, but from a sky that simply stopped letting light through. You're not in a war room. You're in your kitchen. And right now, your biggest enemy isn't radiation. It's panic. Pattern interrupt. Here's a fact most preppers won't tell you: fear kills faster than fallout. In a 2017 study published by the Rand Corporation, researchers found that in mass casualty events, decision-making collapses within the first 15 minutes for 73% of untrained civilians. Not because people are weak. Because the brain, under extreme stress, reverts to instinct, and instinct, in this case, is wrong. The ones who survive aren't the strongest. They're the ones who already decided what to do before they needed to. Here's where the story splits. Two types of people emerge in every disaster scenario, and the gap between them is brutal. Group A, the average city dweller, has 3 days of food in their pantry, no water purification, and a phone that's now a paperweight. Group B, the prepared 4%, has buried seed banks, hand-crank radios, and something more valuable than any gadget: a plan rehearsed in their mind 100 times before disaster ever struck. You probably think prepper means a guy in camo hoarding canned beans. But the real prepper's the ones who study FEMA's own continuity of government bunkers. Built into mountains like Mount Weather in Virginia since 1954. Know something you don't: survival isn't about stockpiling. It's about systems. You call disaster prep paranoid. They call it Tuesday. By day 3, temperatures in agricultural zones, the American Midwest, Ukraine's wheat belt, northern China, have dropped low enough to kill crops mid-growth. In 2007, climate researchers Alan Robock and Owen Brian Toon modeled a limited nuclear war between India and Pakistan, just 100 warheads, and found it could cut global corn production by 10% to 40% for over a decade. Pattern interrupt. Let that sink in. A regional war. Global starvation. This is where the twist comes, in the part that flips everything you assumed. You'd think the safest place to be is far from the blast zones, deep in the countryside, away from cities. But that's the trap. Rural communities, dependent entirely on agriculture, get hit hardest by crop failure. Meanwhile, certain underground urban infrastructures, subway tunnels, parking garages, even abandoned mine shafts become accidental bunkers. In Finland, a country that built 5,500 public shelters capable of housing 4.8 million people, nearly their entire population, city dwellers may actually outlast rural farmers. The safe countryside dream? For the first time in human history, it might be the death trap. The city, the thing you've been told causes burnout, stress, and disconnection, becomes the shelter. Here's where evidence stacks higher. In 2019, researchers from Rutgers University ran updated nuclear winter simulations using modern climate models. They found that even a small nuclear war could kill more people through starvation, an estimated 2 billion globally, than from the initial blasts combined, which killed roughly 27 million in their model. That's not a typo. Famine kills 74 times more people than the bombs. So what determines survival isn't bunkers. It's agriculture science. Countries like New Zealand and Australia, geographically isolated, agriculturally self-sufficient, rank as the most likely to sustain food production post-collapse. According to a 2022 study published in the journal Risk Analysis by Nick Wilson and colleagues at the University of Otago. You probably never thought about New Zealand's sheep population as a matter of national security. They do. They always have. This is the part of the story most documentaries skip because it's not dramatic. It's quiet. The actual survivors of a nuclear winter aren't the ones in movies with guns and gas masks. They're the ones doing something almost boring, indoor mushroom farming, seaweed cultivation, and methane digester greenhouses technologies researched by the organization All-Fed Alliance to Feed the Earth in Disasters, founded in 2015 by physicist David Denkenberger. Denkenberger's research found that mushrooms grown on decaying wood and leaf litter could feed up to 5 billion people within just 1 year of agricultural collapse using technology that already exists today, costing as little as $200 million to scale globally. $200 million. That's less than the production budget of 3 Marvel movies to feed billions. We have the answer already. We just don't fund it because right now, today, with the sun shining and your biggest problem being a late paycheck or a bad night's sleep, it doesn't feel urgent. That's the cruelest twist of all. The solution to extinction already exists. It's just sitting in a research paper nobody read. By the 1-year mark, in the worst-case models, global temperatures stay suppressed for 3 to 10 years. Ozone depletion caused by the heat of nuclear firestorms lets UV radiation through at levels 30% higher than today's, according to a 2008 study by Toon, Robach, and Turco. Humanity doesn't go extinct. The 1983 fear didn't fully materialize. But the world that remains isn't the one you left. The people who survive aren't the toughest, the richest, or the most armed. They're the ones who, long before the sky went dark, learned to grow something, to store something, to plan something. The ones who treated preparation not as paranoia, but as respect for how fragile the whole thing always was. They didn't wait for the warning siren. You're still waiting for a good time to start. They stockpiled knowledge. You stockpile excuses. The bombs don't decide who survives. The decisions made on an ordinary Tuesday months before anyone presses a button decide that. Nuclear winter isn't a war story. It's a mirror. It shows you exactly how prepared or unprepared your entire life already is. The sky hasn't gone dark yet. That's not a comfort. That's a deadline. If this kept you watching till the end, you already know what to do next. Subscribe. Because the next story might be the one that actually changes how you see the world you're standing in right now.